Good morning, children. Welcome to Business Studies class. Chapter 2, Forms of Business Organizations. Today, we will discuss second form of business organization, that is Joint Hindu Family Business. Its features, merits and limitation we can discuss. Let's start. First of all, we want to discuss the meaning of Joint Hindu Family Business. This is a special form of business organization. Joint Hindu Family Business is a specific form of business organization found only in India. That is a specialty. This Joint Hindu Family Business we can see only in India. So it is one of the oldest form of business organization in the country. So this Joint Hindu Family Business is considered as the oldest form of business organization in the country. Why this is considered as the oldest form? Now this joint family is declined. So nuclear families arised. So very less number of joint family we can see in our country. Due to this reason, so now this joint family business is very less in number. So that's why it is considered as the oldest form of business organization. This is the second form of business organization is we discussed in this chapter. So define the business organization we discussed. So what are the defined business organization we discussed in the previous videos? First one, sole proprietorship business. Second one, joint Hindu family business. Third one, partnership. Fourth, cooperative society. And fifth, joint stock company, isn't it? So here second one we are discussing, that is joint Hindu family business. This is found only in India. Another feature, that is this is the oldest form of a business organization found in India. Then it refers to the form of organization wherein the business is owned and carried on by the members of the Hindu undivided family, HUF. So it is also known as the Hindu undivided family business. You know the meaning of Hindu undivided family. Hindu undivided family, HUF, meaning is all members in that family, means 3 generations living in one family itself. That is called a joint Hindu family. That is commonly we can see in Hindu families cases. They all are jointly living. So they are that family is starting a business. That is a joint Hindu family business. It is also called a Hindu undivided family business. Okay. This joint Hindu family business refers to form of organization. This is also considered as a form of organization wherein business is owned and carried on by whom? This business is run and carried on by, owned and carried out by the members of HUF, members of Hindu undivided family. So no other persons from outside this family. This members in the HUF itself owned and controlled this business. Okay, so they are the members of this who the joint Hindu family members itself, the members of that business. No one from outside of that family. So that is the point. So previous we discussed the first form of business organization, sole proprietorship business. Sole proprietorship business case, who is controlled and owned by that business? Sole proprietor, one person only. So here who is owned and carried out by that business? The members of HUF. HUF means a Hindu undivided family. Then next thing, that it is governed by Hindu law. It's a controlled, this joint Hindu family business is governed by Hindu law. So the basis of the membership in the business is a birth in the particular family. So how become a member in that business? That membership of that business is based on the birth in that particular family. If anyone birth in that family, then that person become the member of that business. And how many generations? That is 3 successive generation can be the members of that business. How many members can become the, sorry, how many generations can be the members of that business? 3 successive generation. grandfather, father, son, like that. Grandfather, father, son. So 3 generations. Okay, they can become the members of that business. This is the introduction of this topic, joint Hindu family business. Now, sorry, one more thing is there. That is a one more point introduction is business is controlled by the head of the family, who is the eldest member called karta. So here business is mainly controlled by whom? The only one person is controlling, means a decision taken by one person. Who is that person? Head of the family. Then head of the family is who is the eldest member. Please note down, male member only, not a female member. Eldest male member is the head of the family, and he can only control the business. That person is called a karta, 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 isn't it? So the business is controlled by karta. Who is karta? Head of the family. Then who is that head of the family? Eldest male member is the head of the family. He can only control this business. He is called as in the name karta. All the members have equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor, and they are known as co-partners. And who can member based, that membership is depending upon the birth of that birth in that family. So next, that other members, that is except the eldest member or head of that family, other members we can call it as one name, co-partners. Karta is the head, other members of the family we can call it as a co-partners. Then who are the co-partners? They have the equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor. So and who has the right to get the share of that ancestor property? They are the members of the family. Then they are, we can call it as a co-partners. Co-partners are the members of that family. Okay, so here definition is like the co-partners case, all members have equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor, and they are known as co-partners. Okay, now next we are discussing about the different features of joint Hindu family business. So what are different features of joint Hindu family business? First feature, that is formation. So for joint Hindu family business, there should be at least 2 members in the family and ancestral property to be inherited by them. This is the condition. So then, so minimum how many members are required? 2 members are required, and they have the right to get the ancestral property. So then they can start a business. So the business does not require any agreement. That is another point. The business does not require any agreement. Reason, because the membership is on the basis of birth, not on the basis of agreement. Commonly agreement we can see in the partnership case. Partnership form of business agreement is there, partners agreement. But in the case of joint Hindu family business, no agreement is required. Why? Because the membership is depending upon the birth of that family, birth basis it is understanding the membership. So it is depending the birth. So agreement is not required. It is governed by Hindu Succession Act. So this joint formation basis Hindu law is following. So but business cases Hindu Succession Act 1956 is following. It is governed by Hindu Succession Act 1956. Formation, minimum 2, at least 2 members in the family and ancestor property to be inherited by them. Then they can start a joint Hindu family business. First condition, first feature. Second feature, liability. Okay, liability in the case of sole proprietor we discussed full. Their case is sole proprietor unlimited liability. Why sole proprietor case is unlimited liability? Because he is the only one person for handling. His personal property is also bring to settle the firm's debt. By chance the firm's asset is not to cover all the debts. In such case, owner should bring that is a personal property also. Here liability is joint Hindu family business liability. Liability of all members except Karta is limited to their share of co-personary property of the business. The Karta, however, has unlimited liability. So this is the point. So Karta case, what type of liability? Unlimited liability. Karta case, unlimited liability. What is the meaning of unlimited? He is responsible to all the liabilities. If any asset of this firm business or the other uh, asset of this firm is not sufficient to meet the outside debts of that firm, in such case who is responsible for balance liability? Karta. So his personal property also he want to bring for settling the firm's debt. It's such a point of view we can say Karta's liability is unlimited, but co-partner's liability is limited. So that's the point. So co-partner's liability is limited to the extent that is liability of all members except Karta. Is that is liability of all members except Karta. Liability is limited to what extent? Limited to the share of a co-partnership property of the business. Means what is his each member's share of that property, each share of the ancestral property. Up to that only each member's liability. But Karta's case, any personal property is there, that also he is want to bring to settle the firm's business debt. So we can conclude this point like this: Karta's liability is unlimited liability, is a personal property in addition to the ancestor property. Personal property also he wants to use for settling the firm's debt. But in the case of co-partners case, co-partners liability is limited to the share of co-partnership property of the business. Next point is next feature is control. Then who is controlling this business? The control of the family business lies with the Karta. Full control of the family business is conducted by Karta. He takes all decisions and is authorized to manage the business. Karta is managing the business. Decision taken by Karta. His decisions are binding on other members. So control. Next one is continuity. So business is a continue or not? Yes, it will continue. If anything happened to Karta, then definitely business will continue. Why? Next eldest male member become the next Karta and business will continue. The business continues even after the death of a Karta, as the next eldest member takes up the position of a Karta. So leaving the business stable. Business can, however, terminated with the mutual consent of the members. When this business can terminate, all members of that family are agreed to stop that business, then only they can stop that business. Otherwise anything happen to Karta, it will not affect the business, it will continue, because next eldest male member become the Karta and business will continue. So business becomes stable. Next, minor members. The inclusion of an individual into the business occurs due to the birth in the Hindu undivided family business. So membership is depend upon the birth basis, isn't it? So the inclusion of individual into the business occurs due to the birth. So in a Hindu undivided family, hence a minor. Who is a minor? The person who is less than 18 years old, that is they are called minors. So in this joint Hindu family business cases, minors also we can consider as the members of the business. Why? Birth is dependent, means if a person is worth on that family, then definitely he is a member of that business. So whether he is completed 18 years or not, then also he is a member of that family. So mine are also the member in joint Hindu family business. So next topic, that is merits, advantages of joint Hindu family business. So merits or advantages of joint Hindu family business. The first advantages is effective control. So this is control, one side advantages, one side limitation also there. Okay, that we can discuss later. But in advantages point of view, merits point of view, how we can say this is effective control. Karta has absolute decision making power. This avoids the conflict among the members. No one can interface his right to decide. Who is taking this decision about the business? Karta. So definitely we can avoid one person taking the decision. Definitely others also following that decision only. No one can interface the right of his Karta's decision. Then in such a point of view we can avoid a conflict among the members. So this leads to the prompt and flexible decision making. So effective control is occurred due to this karta. Next advantages, continued business existence. So this is business will continue, whether if it is anything happen to the karta, then business will continue. So it will not affect the running of the business. So continued business existence. So death of the karta will not affect the business, as the next eldest male member will taken up the position. Hence the operation is not terminated and continuity of the business is not threatened. So this is the another advantages of a Hindu family, joint Hindu family business. Next one is limited liability of members. Limited liability of members. Members liability is limited, but Karta's liability is unlimited. So this is a point that co-partners point of view, that is the merit only. Means they are liable up to the co-partnery properties only. So no any personal property they won't no need to bring to the business. So the limited liability of members is another advantage. The liability of all co-partners except Karta is limited to their share or in the business. The consequently their risk is well defined and precise. So they know their risk to the maximum what extent they are liable. So that is a well defined and precise their liability. So limited liability is the limited liability of member is the merits of a joint Hindu family business. Next increased loyalty and cooperation. Increased loyalty and cooperation. Whose loyalty? That is since the business is run by the members of the family, there is a greater sense of loyalty towards one another. The pride in the growth of the business is linked to the achievements of the family. This helps securing the better cooperation from all members, isn't it? So here what is the increased loyalty and cooperation? Since the business is run by whom? Members of the family. There is a greater sense of loyalty towards one another, because the success of the business is depend upon their effort only. So cooperation is there. So they wants to develop that business. That is a point, loyalty towards one another, and pride in the growth of a business is linked to the achievements of the family. This help in securing better cooperation from all members. So increased loyalty and cooperation. These are the different merits of a joint Hindu family. What are the merits of a joint Hindu family business? Effective control, continued business existence, limited liability of members, increased loyalty and cooperation. 4 points are there. Next, limitations of a joint Hindu family business. What are the limitations of joint Hindu family business? First one, limited resources. Same problem in sole proprietorship business also. Here limited resources, capital is very less only. So joint Hindu family business faces the problem of limited capital as it depends mainly on ancestral property only. So this limits the scope of expansion of a business. So this family joint Hindu family businesses face the problem of limited capital. Why? Because it depends on mainly on ancestral property. This limit the scope of expansion of the business. Next limitation, unlimited liability of a karta. Their merits case we discussed, that is a co-partners point of view, limited liability, so that is a merits for members, but limitation case is unlimited liability of a karta, that is the limitation. Now, second limitation, unlimited liability of karta. The karta is burdened not only with the responsibility of decision making and management of the business, but also suffers from the disadvantages of having unlimited liability. Is a personal property can be used to repay the business debts. Clear? So that's the point. So here Karta is responsible for, definitely for taking. Who is responsible? Karta is responsible for decision making and management of the business. But not only doing this one, but also he is facing a disadvantage. What is that disadvantage? Is he having? He is he has a unlimited liability. Why his liability is unlimited? His personal property can be used to repay the business debts. But co-partners cases, personal property is not required, but ancestral property, what they are getting, share of ancestral property only responsible. Okay, so this is the point. Next, third one is limitations of joint Hindu family business. That third point, dominance of Karta. But their advantage is effective control wise, we can say that is that is advantage. But sometimes power is there. Okay, I am taking the all decision. This type of dominance power will occur. So that is another limitation of a joint Hindu family business. That is dominance of Karta. So the kartas individually manages the business, which may at the time not be acceptable to other members. Sometimes his decision is not supported by other members, but certain situation they must follow that one. So they should follow these orders of karta. So such point of view, this they are facing the dominance problem of the dominance power of a karta. So this may cause the conflict among them and may even lead to breakdown of the family unit. So that is another limitations of a joint Hindu family business. Next, last limitation is limited managerial skill. So here, since the karta cannot be expert in, that is cannot be expert in, the karta cannot be expert and cannot be an expert in all areas of management. The business may suffer as a result of his unwise decision. Due to his unwise decision, the business leads to loss. The inability of a decide effectively may result in the poor profit or even loss of the organization. So why this is occurring like this is because he is not an expert in all areas of management, so he can't take all the decision effective basis. So that's the main reason for sometimes this businesses leads to loss situation. Okay, limited managerial skill of karta. So these are the different limitations of joint Hindu family business. First one is limited resources. Second limitation, unlimited liability of a karta, dominance of karta, and limited manager skill of karta. Okay. So why this joint Hindu family business is declined? The joint Hindu family business is on the decline because of the diminishing number of joint Hindu families in the country. Now nuclear family is there, isn't it? Due to this reason, So number of joint Hindu family business also decline. Thank you.